All right, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. Miami Dolphins, of course, getting ready for the New York Jets this week, as the Dolphins pretty much got to run the table to have hope of making the postseason. If they do, maybe they'll be in a good spot. But, they got to show that consistency. But it was interesting. Tua, man, he was speaking to the media this week, and these sometimes are hit or miss midweek press conferences. What's a guy's mood? How's he feeling? This was a very entertaining Tua press conference this week. This was a really, really great a great Tua press conference from the standpoint of he had a lot of actual interesting things to say, but none of it more so other than basically just calling Aaron Rodgers old and washed. He didn't say that by direct quote, but he said it by backhanded compliments. And I was like, oh, kind of feels like Tua's going to mold. That's what it felt like to me. But I like to read into stuff. But the most interesting thing that he was asked about the Dolphins' record and them being 5-7 and why they're there. And this was a fascinating Tua Tagovailoa answer as to why they are where they are with their record. And he took blame in a very crazy way because he was like, I put myself in harm's way.
Very surprised. I don't think that shows the character of who we are as a team. Doesn't show the work that we've put in this offseason together. But, nobody else will say it but me. And I feel like this has a lot to do with myself, obviously putting myself in harm's way in the second game, going down, basically leaving my guys out to dry. That's what I would say. And anyone can have an opinion about, like, it's football, it's this, it's that. I do take heart to that as well. And just don't want to do that to my guys again. So
that is a crazy thing to say. I mean, this man, you want to talk about why this dude has so much clout in the locker room and why he's looked upon that. That is a crazy thing to say. I'm sorry for putting myself in harm's way and leaving my guys out to dry. Because, look, it is true. Going back on that, but that was it was crazy. Look, I wouldn't want Tua to run another yard in his career. And he has come through, even post-concussion. The dude he has dove for first downs. He has slid. He has scrambled. He's had some elusive plays out of the pocket. And that's great. I would be fine if he just never moved and just threw BBs all over the place. I guess you got to move someone in the pocket, and he's done a very good job of that. But as far as running and putting himself in harm's way, like the Trevor Lawrence thing with some crazy safety with a forearm shiver coming out, no. I would be fine if that never happens. But that play when it happened with Damar Hamlin, like we all were just like, you watched it and you're just like, why did he even? And that it's probably been weighing on him. Like he probably in the days that he's had to think about it and where their season's at and whatever reflections have gone on in the long weekend and Turkey Day and all that type of stuff is thought, why did I even do that? Why did I do that? And why? Oh, why did I leave my team with Skylar Thompson? Why? Has anybody, I can't think of a person whose stock has dropped farther than Skylar Thompson's over this calendar year, because this man, went from, he's developed 3 years in the system to is basically apologizing to his team that they ever stuck them with him. And it's tough, but it is what it is, right? Like they've already weighed their choice and they're going to go with Tyler Huntley, and that's the move that they're going to go with from here on out. But I also feel like that is why the guy is so likable and why he does it there. And by the way, kind of goes to my point of what happened last week, where the guy is a big boy, and everybody who has to go and coddle him and throw up his box score against the Packers to defend him is crazy, because I know that the guy is sitting back there thinking that it wasn't good enough and they didn't get off to the start they needed to, in spite of whatever the completion percentage is, and that he's on pace to possibly break the record for rating or completion percentage this season. Look, the guy is tremendously talented. That's why I've been a fan of him. But I do like that. I like the fact that this guy is so honest. I really do feel like with Tua, one of the things that I appreciate with him is there really doesn't feel like there's any bullshit. He can't help but be honest, and he can't tell things like, oh, Aaron Rodgers can't help but just mention, yeah, is he what he was? Is he what, is that what we're facing? He can't even help but to not put that in there. And then also to the effect of like, oh yeah, I'm sorry that I left my team out to dry. That's why we're here. With the Dolphins being in a better place, well, certainly they'd have more margin for error. I cannot think that the Dolphins would have gone 1-3 with no Tua. Would they have been exactly where they imagined they would have been? That's tough to say because you got momentums of games, how they changed, him getting back on pace. All that type of stuff is up for debate, right? Certainly you look to like the Colts game and you would have thought like, yeah, if you had Tua, you're breezing through that game and then you're obviously in a better spot from a tiebreak scenario. Not only with record, but then you're also in a better spot because, the Colts don't have one on you or anything like that. You don't have these obstacles to think about. But ultimately, look, you have a matchup coming here with the New York Jets that is one where the Dolphins look across from them, and the one I was worried about this week was Kendall Lamb. He says there's no doubt he's going. He was limited in practice this week. The only guy to miss practice this week was Teron Armstead. We're at that time of year where Teron Armstead, he's a gamer. He's not going out there to practice. You're hopeful that, I suppose, the Rook is going out there and getting his reps and getting better along with the team. Should he be needed to spring into action there? But the Dolphins today, in getting ready for this game, they saw that Sauce Gardner, he remains a big question mark for the New York Jets with a hamstring. I think their coach said this week, he's like, not a team that you want to face when you have a hamstring issue. Totally fair. And Breece Hall, who is dealing with a knee injury, and then, mind you, this is also a team coming off a bye. He's also not looking too fantastic as far as the prospects of him going, which, any knock that the Jets are going to have, the Dolphins are probably not going to apologize for that. Then you have the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers and their offensive line. If the Dolphins can create anything, I don't know what's going to, what to make of the Bradley Chubb thing. Mike McDaniel will speak on Friday, so maybe you'll get better answer. It was interesting because he really do-si-doed around that, where he was like, he was asked, you don't normally, when the window opens, you don't bring the guys back right away. So I don't know what goes down this week. They put it on here as to that he had a limited practice as they did with Cameron Good. So I don't know. It sounds like it possibly could be a slow roll, but I don't know what to read into that. And then possibly you have to look at it from the standpoint of, hey, do they feel like they can get through one more week without him, get him more up to speed, win this game against the New York Jets, and then see where things are at. Because then also, like, hey, if they lose, does he come back for sure? He's probably going to come back no matter what. I would venture, but then you think about like, oh, well, all right, if you can store it up for one more week and then you can get after the Texans with them, could be a huge boost. So there's that to go with as well. But man, yeah, when Tua said that, I was like, that is the best. He is like, personality-wise and leadership-wise, this dude is the best when it comes to that stuff. He just has such a great way of carrying himself with all this type of stuff. This is nothing to do with, you think he's a franchise quarterback? Do you think he's the answer? Hey, he obviously has to get over those hurdles. There's no doubt about it. But I was just like, man, what a way to take pressure off of everybody, right? Like if you were to just like, how can I just let everybody know? Put this all on me. Put it all on me. I thought it was a great thing. I thought it was an awesome verbal gesture from QB1.